Just a few things about what Martin Luther King did to fight discrimination. So we have the Montgomery bus boycott. So for a whole year, black people refused to use buses because black people were made to sit at the back of the buses, and Rosa Parks was arrested for refusing to move a seat at the front. They also did sit-ins with where they sat in white-only restaurants with white people, as black people and white people sitting together. So that was another example of a non-violent action that was used to protest against racism. They went on marches, so there was the Million Man March, where people went on a march in Washington to stand up for human rights. Again, black, white people, Indian people, all races sitting together, marching together. And obviously his speeches. Martin Luther King was like one of the best speakers of our current history, and he did inspirational speeches, as we have mentioned, against the war in Vietnam and against racism, the I Have a Dream speech. Results of his actions, racism, discrimination that was existing in America was reduced as a result of actions and the actions that Martin Luther King did. He did, however, have to make sacrifices. He was arrested, he was sent to prison, he's been stabbed, he's been assaulted, he had threatening phone calls, he had to deal with all those things, his house was bombed, and he was assassinated in 1968. So he took on a lot of violence, but stood up against it to fight that racism. But at the end of the day, he achieved what he wanted to achieve and is one of the great people of our society and history. And also he ensured an important law that allowed adult black people to have the freedom to vote. So that's another example of something that Martin Luther did and something that he achieved. Also his name, Martin Luther King, was influenced by the great Protestant thinker Martin Luther, who was a person who really spoke out for the poor in the past in Europe. He's the founder of Protestantism. Come and speak to me, or write a little note, and I'll describe more information about Martin Luther, who was the founding name of Martin Luther King.